officially training camp time, and today Sabres general manager Kevyn Adams announced that the Sabres are stripping Jack Eichel of his captaincy. Yeah, we showed him. Hey everyone, my name's Melody. Thank you for clicking on this video. So hockey's like finally kind of back. You know, everyone's back in training camp. We're kind of getting close to things. It's getting exciting. And in completely not shocking news, Jack Eichel came to training camp, failed his physical, and will be put on injured reserve. And not only that, Kevyn Adams today in his press conference said Jack Eichel will no longer be the captain of the Buffalo Sabres, which is again not surprising. Like, I had a lot of people in my mentions today being like, oh my goodness, the Sabres, this is crazy. No, it's not. Didn't Jack Eichel make it like very clear back in May that he was pretty much done being a Buffalo Sabre? So how can you have someone be your captain who's like never gonna play for you again? You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't shocking. This wasn't like, oh my god, the Sabres. Like, this was like, of course they did. Like, he's done. So a lot of you may have noticed I've kind of, like, this entire summer completely refrained from saying a word about Jack Eichel, and that's for a couple reasons. Reason number one, I hate this. I hate this whole situation. It's dumb, it's stupid, and at this point in September, I'm tired of it. And number two, my thing is, I don't like to form opinions or, you know, make videos or talk about things if I feel like I don't have the full picture. And this whole situation has just been, like, it's really been hard to form opinion. Like, there's obviously way more going on behind the scenes than what we've been able to see in, like, you know, the little, you know, news drops here and there, the little bit of insider information that we get. And I feel like this is such a complicated situation. Like, I've been going back and forth on this whole thing about Jack's neck. You know, the Sabres want him to have the fusion surgery. He wants to have an artificial disc replacement surgery. And they can't agree on which surgery Jack is going to have, so he's having none. And now we're getting into the season, and it's still going on. Obviously, without the surgery now, he can't even play hockey. So, like, it's just, like, I would say I'm surprised that it's gone on that long, but I'm honestly really not. Like, with the little bit of information that we kind of have, the only thing I can think is that both sides are probably right and wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I'm obviously not a doctor. But from listening, because I've been trying to do as much research on this as I can, but hearing from, like, I've heard both sides. Like, I've heard one side say that, you know, the artificial disc replacement will be good, it'll be okay. I've heard other sides say, do not do that. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like it's not a black and white situation. So it's frustrating, you know, hearing a lot of people kind of, like, bash the Sabres. Like, if I honestly had to pick a side right now, I would probably say that I feel like the Sabres are doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Because, like, on the one hand, you know, if Jack truly believes that the artificial disc replacement surgery is the right surgery for him, not only short-term but long-term, you know, it's his body, it's his life. I'm sure, you know, he's put a lot of thought into this. But on the other side, there has to be a reason why the Sabres doctors are so against the artificial disc replacement and would prefer the fusion. There has to be some reason. There's no way that the Sabres would totally just piss off really the only reason that they've sold tickets over the last, like, 6 years. They must truly believe that the risks of this surgery outweigh the consequences of pissing off their superstar elite center that they tanked away an entire season for. You know what I mean? And from the Sabres' perspective, too, like people are saying that they're being incompetent, they're being petty about this. Why? Like, what good does that do them? Like, what good does it do to, like, this is obviously a public spectacle. It's basically all anyone's been able to talk about in the offseason is Jack Eichel and his neck surgery and the, you know, disagreement between the Sabres and the Eichel camp. So what good does it do for the Sabres to, you know, put out this image that they're, like, anti-player and they're not looking out for a player's best interest? Like, how does that help them long-term attract free agents, attract, you know, players who have to waive no-move clauses? You know what I mean? So, that, like, there has to be something to it that we're just not seeing. Like, there was just a report, I think Drager reported it, where Jack Eichel went out to the West Coast and he was getting more opinions from more doctors and he couldn't get, like, you know, a firm answer one way or the other, because this clearly is, like a very polarizing thing. There clearly are a bunch of different thoughts on it, and there's probably a lot of risk involved. So I just don't know. Like, I don't know what to believe. I don't know how to feel about it. It's obviously a frustrating situation. There's nothing good about coming out of this. I think at this point, the best thing to happen would probably be to just let him get a surgery and then, you know, hope that nothing goes wrong, hope that, you know, take the risk that he's going to come back healthy, maybe up his trade value, let him play in time before his no-move clause kicks in next year. Because clearly this has become like a staring contest, and we're trying to see who's going to blink first. Like, Jack seems pretty firm that he's not getting the fusion surgery, and the Sabres seem pretty firm on not letting him get the disc replacement. And to me, it's so interesting that, you know, this standoff is happening because, like, the Olympics are coming up, and Jack has always kind of been pretty firm on this idea that it would be a dream to play for Team USA in the Olympics. So, like, by him not getting a surgery, he's risking not being able to play. And I mean, at this point, you're wondering the recovery time. It's going to take some time to recover, so we'll even be able to play in the Olympics at this point, you know? When I was watching the whole thing play out, like, you know, in the offseason, in the draft, free agency, like, I feel like the Sabres just wanted to be able to offload him and let the trading team decide what they want to do with him. And it's not surprising that other teams around the league, you know, looking at Kevyn Adams, his track record, his inexperience, probably tried to fleece him, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at the list of untouchables that Chris Drury and the Rangers have, is just absolutely absurd. There was that report that the Anaheim Ducks were only willing to offer, like, a hockey trade for Jack Eichel, and what do they say, like, Jack Eichel for, like, John Gibson or something. So clearly NHL GMs, like, don't want Jack Eichel that bad. And I definitely don't blame Kevyn Adams for standing firm in his asking price, and I'm glad at this point, like, obviously, you know, we don't have any assets for him, and he's going to be on IR, so we have nothing for him right now. But I'm glad that he didn't just give in to whatever the best offer was. Like, stand firm, Kevyn. I'm proud of you. This whole saga, like, I'm just so tired of it. Like, I've gone through my grieving process, right? Like, I was in denial, I was depressed about it, I was mad, but now I'm over it. Like, Jack Eichel's not a Sabre anymore. And I don't care, I'm fine with that. I'm over it. We're gonna move forward. We're gonna go to the next era. This was clearly a failed rebuild. Jack Eichel was clearly, you know, not saying that this was his fault, but, I mean, we did nothing with him on this roster. Obviously, there were a lot of other players that were doing a whole lot of nothing, but the Sabres, you know, they never even sniffed the playoffs in all this time Jack was here. So, you know, like, how can you be upset? Like, if we were, like, a playoff contending team and we were losing Jack Eichel in this way, it would be probably a lot worse, but, I mean, we're still bad. We're still bad with him. And another question I've always had, would this be an issue if Jack Eichel was playing on a contending team, right? Like, if Jack Eichel was playing for Vegas or Tampa or Colorado, would he be giving the team doctors this much of an issue? You know what I mean? So I kind of wonder how much of it is, like, just truly, like, this huge disagreement over which surgery to have, or if this is, like, just, you know, another, hey, get me out of here kind of thing. Would Jack Eichel badly be wanting to get out of Colorado or Vegas or any contending team because of, like, a disagreement in how to handle his neck surgery? I don't think he would. I think it would be a different story, honestly, but I guess we'll never know. And, like, the question, like, if he didn't get injured and he played this whole season and we finished in last place, like, do you think he'd still be wanting to get out of here? Or do you think this is truly, like, he's only asking for a trade because of the neck thing? You know what I mean? I don't think that's the case. I think he just wants out of here and he's using this as kind of like his way out. That's my guess. But like I said, again, I don't know, and I don't like to make these assumptions and make these statements if I don't know a lot about what's going on. And I feel like this whole summer there's just been so much, like, non-news, like, regarding Jack Eichel. Like, all you've heard from these insiders is like, all right, news regarding Jack Eichel. Nothing new. I mean, not nothing. Like, there's been some things, like, you know, when Kevyn Adams came out in his press conference and kind of said, we're in control of this situation, and then Jack Eichel and his camp got mad, so they put out, like, a press release at, like, 9 o'clock on a Friday night randomly because they got all pissy that Kevyn Adams, like, said that. Then he got all mad because he's like, we expected to be traded by now. It's like, tell GMs to offer better stuff. What do you want? We're not going to trade you for nothing. You know, he fired his agent, got Pat Brisson, and then there was, like, that thing where JSD, the fringe NHLer at best, who kind of came out and basically called out Jack Eichel for not being a good leader and not being a good captain, which, okay. I don't know. Like I said, this whole thing has just been frustrating and annoying, and I want it over as much as ever. Like, I know hockey Twitter, hockey, you know, everything, the hockey world has badly wanted a Jack Eichel trade to go down, and honestly, I'm right there with you guys. I want it to happen too. I want him out. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of this whole situation, and I'm sick of, like, you know, having to just wait for something to happen because it's just, like, there's just nothing to talk about, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, this whole situation sucks. Like, the Sabres don't have any value for him. He doesn't get to play. You only get so many years of your NHL career, and he can't play. So I think this whole thing's kind of been petty. It's been, you know, unnecessarily dramatic. Like, I wish these sides would be able to reach an agreement and just make something happen. Which kind of leads to the question now, like, how does this get resolved? Like, who's going to blink first, right? Is Jack just going to give in and get the surgery that the Sabres want him to get? Are the Sabres going to give in? Are they going to let Jack just get the surgery he wants? But if they do give in and he does get the surgery he wants, when he could have gotten the surgery back in, like, probably before May, like, how irritating would that be, you know? And when is a team finally just going to make an offer that Kevyn Adams accepts, you know? Like, when is he finally going to get traded? And it's going to be tough now, too, because, like, teams are set. Teams are, like, at the cap. They're near the cap. They have their rosters set. You know, like, how's anything going to happen now, right? So, I don't know. Like, I'm so tired of it. I promise. Like, I'm so tired of it. I'm done. That's why I didn't talk about it all summer. That's why I don't even want to talk about it now. I don't want to talk about it later. Like, I'm just so done. So now, like, the question is, like, well, who's going to be the next Sabres captain? No one. Like, look at their roster. There's no one that could be a captain. It wouldn't shock me if they don't have a captain for the next couple years. Like, they have some veteran guys that could probably wear it. Like, I mean, they have Kyle Oposo, but he's, like, not a good hockey player anymore, but he's probably a good locker room guy. They have Zemgus Girgensons, who, like, I don't know, like, before Jack Eichel, he always kind of had, like, that captain kind of swagger to him, but he's still, like, a fourth liner. And they're obviously, I hope that they learn their lesson and they're not going to give it to a young guy, which they won't and shouldn't. I don't know. Like, I want this over so we can just move on and start thinking about the future and thinking about what this core could look like going forward. I think they have some really good young pieces, and I think that obviously they're only going to get more with the the upcoming top 5 draft picks they're going to get in the next few years. And I will say, something that has kind of made me happy in a way is listening to Kevyn Adams and Don Granato talk. Like, they seem to really kind of be really focused on this concept of building a culture, which, you know, sometimes can kind of make you roll your eyes a bit. But a lot of times you hear these GMs talk and you know it's total BS, right? Like, Jason Botterill was a definite one of those guys where every time he talked, you're just like, okay, Jason, shut up. But, like, listening to Kevyn Adams, like, obviously, like, any GM is going to say these kinds of things, but it doesn't always translate to what happens on the ice. But I kind of feel like maybe things could be going in the right direction, and I'm kind of into it. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what happens. Like, if we could just get these guys that, like, you know, refuse to be pushed around and always come to the rink with a positive attitude and ready to just work their tails off. Like, that's all Buffalo asks for. We're a blue-collar city where that's all we ask for is just hard work, dedication, and just giving it your all. You know what I mean? So, listening to Kevyn Adams talk, Don Granato, like, I do like a lot of what I'm hearing because I feel like more so than anyone, any of the GMs over the past decade, it seems like they just get it a little bit more. I mean, again, it could just be all talk, but I'm definitely not upset about what they're saying. So, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I stopped caring about Jack Eichel a long time ago. Like, it's over. The Eichel era is over. So, it is what it is at this point. We just gotta move forward and see what happens with with this new core. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. Please make sure to give your thoughts, because I feel like there are so many different kind of thoughts on this, different perspectives, different angles. So please, in the comments below, tell me what you think. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you soon. Go Bills. Bye, guys.